Test. Alright, here we go. Well, I'll start by saying sorry for the delay, but no one watching in the future will even notice that. So I'll say sorry for the delay once people get in here. Anyway, today is part 2 of the 2005 CMSL preseason trip. For anyone who didn't hear, again, private, I won't say charter because it was sort of a volunteer run, a private trip run organized by some CMSL volunteers as sort of a preseason shakedown before the actual season began. For those of you who know, the CMSL is this thing that runs between Tuckahoe and Richland. If you go back far enough, as in between like 1999 and around 2008, 6, 7, they were running a service between Cape May, or kind of Cape May, and Cape May Courthouse. Sometime right after this, I think it was the following year when vandalism forced the CMSL to relocate to its current operations. Anyway, we will kick off here. So, like I said, the trip was for a variety of people that I don't quite know, but they were friends of the organizers. I think they were rail related. I'm not entirely sure. I was just happy to be there, but I was there for other purposes. So here we have again a picture of the interior of the lounge car 37, with people enjoying their self-provided beverages and such. Sorry about this. Things should be working pretty well today. I had a bit of had to supply updates, and normally I just sort of go from time to time. And again, here we just have the bar and the kitchen area in number 37. This was a New York Central, what they call a tavern lounge. It was on some of their premier trains, or one of them, or I don't know which one it was. I'm not a big private car history person. But again, like I said, it served food and beverages to a variety of probably first class passengers. Here we are. Now this is something that I started. Back when I first did this in 2005, I just sort of did a sequential CMSL tour. So I think that's not a bad idea. I do that sometimes. If it's a short line, if it's something where I want to be able to view them in order and mileposts aren't really available, I'll just do a sort of a sequential numbering system here. So hold on, I need to find where this actually is. So these pictures are starting in Cape May Courthouse. Here you can see the same area today. You can barely even tell the track is there, unfortunately. I don't think that it'll get reactivated at some point, but it's going to need quite a bit of work to get it going. I mean, it didn't look great in 2005, although we were assured that the track was in better condition than it looked. RDCs weren't the best cars at rust scrubbing, and due to the light duty and whatever had happened, they said it was good to go. In fact, they were claiming that this rusty track here was good for Class 3 speeds, although they were pretty much limited to, like, I don't know what they actually ran it at, but it was claimed that they were maintaining it to Class 3, even though it looked just terrible. Where was this? I want to be able to, even though I'm going to put it sequentially, I want to provide a better description. So I'm just trying to find where that would be. Looks like there's a road there or a parking lot of some kind. Not, you know, it's looking like that's used to be where the fire, like that firehouse looks new enough that I bet that's where this is. Let's see, you can look at that White House there and a crossing. And they used to have a station here. I think their first CMSL station was in Cape May Courthouse. And then they extended up to the fairgrounds. Or I think they even let people off if you wanted. So I'm looking for that house. There's the house. Yeah, this is the block it was in. Unless that's the old station right there. I can see a little bit of a thing. But I don't know. Sort of tough to tell. Let's take a look again. Where is this? Crossing. Wait. I see a lumber yard. Nah, I knew that there was something up there. Yeah, there's the lumber yard. There's the station. So I bet there was an old lumber yard lead and siding, and I bet the CMSL pulled that out. Or it's where all those trees are. Seems like something I could probably pull up on Google Earth. See, I'm on the first photo, and I can't even get past the damn first photo. But it helps to be interested sometimes. Come on. Oh, come on, Google Street View. This is New Jersey. You didn't send your little car down that street? Alright, fine. Anyway. Off to a flying thud here. Wait, what am I doing? Where am I? Oh. There we go. See, it's Reading Ave. This, if you didn't know, this used to be the old Atlantic City Railroad, aka Reading System line to Cape May. I need to tag the presence of the old stations on Wikimapia here to make this easier for anyone else who's trying to search for it. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that siding was still there. See, it's got to be because they really don't remove anything on the CMSL. Okay, here we go. So, by the way, this is I'm getting a little cab ride in the damn it, cab ride in the head of the RDC. So that's the advantage when you're on a little private charter. Not that you can't often get CMSL cab rides anyway. There we go. Off to the races. This is going to be... Just keep going to the wrong one. There we go. That is likely going to be this guy. This street there. Hand Avenue. So you can tell the two closely spaced crossings. I'm going to cut off a lot of this extraneous stuff there. Don't know why I'm getting this blue tint on it. These Olympuses had pretty good color correction or color reproduction. Yep, that looks like it. One, I'm not sure if it was really present through Cape May Courthouse. One of the more interesting features on the line was so people don't really know about Pennsylvania Reading Seashore Line operations who don't live in South Jersey. If you live in South Jersey and you're a rail fan, you're all totally gaga for the Pennsylvania Reading Seashore Line. Less so otherwise. They ran STITES Ave. Okay, Cape May Seashore or Pennsylvania Reading Seashore ran, or their successors. Trains ran to the seashore until '83. There was a gap in service. Seashore being Atlantic City, Ocean City, Cape May. There was a gap in service, and then '89 Atlantic City line came back. So I got at some point I got a hold of the schedules for the. Oops, forgot to resize this. I got a hold of the schedules for the service up the Conrail PRSL service. I got a bunch of schedules from like the late '60s up through Conrail into the NJT operations, and when you read the books and the railfan books and everything, it's like, oh wow, we had this like nice commuter operation going down to the shore all the way up to 1983. It wasn't. It was like one round trip to Cape May, maybe two in the summer, and maybe 2 or 3 round trips to Atlantic City, all peak direction, and that's it. I mean, you miss your train to go to the shore, and you're done. I mean, if you're commuting from Cape May to Philly. And it was just shocking how little service was running on these tracks. And that's why some of the things that I saw here when I did this trip, and when I used to ride the Cape May Seashore Line, I rode it occasionally. It was a late 90s kind of thing. Here we have the Cape May Courthouse siding. Cape May Courthouse siding southbound. And one of the things that we were noticing, we were just starting this year, like the Cape May Seashore Lines was running more service than the PRSL ever did. I mean, not ever did, but did. Here we have those Boston and Maine cars. I kind of processed these photos a little out of order there. We got our engineer dude doing his RDC thing. So one of the issues that the crossings had activation issues, or because the rails were rusty. And once the season got going, it wasn't really an issue. But hold on. But the Cape May, the Pennsylvania Reading Seashore Line had put down these like rumble strips on the track. They were like made of weld metal, which wouldn't corrode. So, and it was designed to trip the crossing protection. So you're going down on the Cape May Seashore Line, you get near a crossing, and it's like you're literally going over a rumble strip. You go bada 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 bada, and they're like, oh yeah, those got put down sometime in the early 1970s, and they're still here because it's weld material. So it was pretty interesting how little use the line was getting in its later years, and the whole system. Like they had to maintain block operators at Tuckahoe and Winslow Junction. They had to have they had to have all these people and all this track to just run 5 trains a day. It was one of those things. If I can see why someone did a calculation that it would be cheaper to buy all the regular riders a car back in the 1970s and to keep the train running. So here's an interesting thing that we had sort of going. So because this was sort of an early, I don't want to conflate this with a different trip, but anyway, we're making our run, and here we have the CMSL owner, Tony McCree, out here to meet us because I think they were doing weed spraying that day, and he wanted to. We had to get we had to get a sort of an actual Form D from the, it's like, how often do you get like a Form D from the owner of the railroad? Although I think the owner is New Jersey Dot owns the tracks. He just has a lease type agreement. Not sure what I did here. Oh, yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. What did I call this one? Okay. So we came up because we had to leave the Cape May Courthouse area. All we know is we had to leave the Cape May Courthouse at a certain time, get down to talk to Tony, because then he was going to give us another Form D to continue on southbound to the Stone Harbor historic village, where their temporary southern terminal was. Oops, don't want to over sharpen this. And so we're pulling up here. What the hell did I just do? Oh, damn it. There we go. All right. So we pulled up. There's our engineer in the foreground. There's Tony. I think he feels like, oh, I'm working here. I got to put on my old high visibility vest to write out this Form D. And they're just going over, just getting us safely down to Stone Harbor. Trying to figure out where this picture would be. So there we are having a little Form D conference. I think there was a weed sprayer out there, and I could have sworn I got a picture of it, but again, I did the same kind of trip like 4 years earlier, and some of the same situations happened, so I don't know if the weed sprayer truck was that year or this year. Here we go. I'm not sure if they're actually doing if they're still doing the Form D or what at that point. I'm taking a picture directly from the Dutch door. Oh, yep, there's the weed truck. Yeah, so we came. We're getting he's there supervising the weed knockdown operation, and we just needed to. As soon as the weed truck cleared into the Cape May Courthouse siding, we were good to go. So, we got legit railroading here. It's going to crop out that other car there, just trying to get a little more zoom in on here on the weed truck. Yeah, that's the right way to go. All right. There's the first set of 12. Let me just sort these back out by name. Delete them. And so we're going to be doing half the set. We got 2 more sets, today, one tonight and one tomorrow. And then we'll see what's up. Let's see what's anybody in the... Wow, we got a ton of people in the chat here. Jen, the stream with the... Wait, what did you need? Wait, did someone have a question? Yeah, I'm sorry I switched back and forth. You're right. I could probably do a second screen here. I don't... I do this setup in my parents' house, so I don't have a lot of computing things. So I'm sorry if I missed the chat. How's it? Oh yeah, congrats! Thank you for us for cashiering in the current environment. We really everybody appreciates you. Oh, underscore Conrail guy seems to actually know where things are. No, I found where it was on the thing. It actually wasn't quite where the road was curved. It was that first block next to the fire department. So, hope you're still watching. Anyway, I will try to check back more frequently. I'm used to only having like 3 people here, and not having a lot of questions. The major issue is that it's just never been a problem before. This sort of like where are they now type stuff, or where am I now type things is more typical to when I'm doing more modern survey things, which is again a reason I oh, hey, it's actually spraying again. Yeah, you can see the weed truck spraying. So hold on, I'll get to the weed truck doing its thing. Oh, I have a whole like sequence. All right, here we go. Am I missing photos? Oh no, the guy is getting out. There's gonna be a sequence of passing the weed truck. So I'm just gonna adjust my naming here. So the switch is being restored. These were electrically locked at one point, as you could see from the hardware coming in. Probably not CTC at all. This was all manual blocks, so they might not even been electrically locked. They're probably locked. There's probably some sort of, a time lock system, or a more elaborate time lock system. Just trying to... Okay, I'll extend to the bottom. There we go. So I'm just going to do a quick sequence. And notice the weed truck is spraying, even though we're not on the main line anymore. I mean, I guess they're paid to do their job, so even if they're on the siding, they're going to spray it. Way back in the day, they just used fire, but you can't do that anymore, I guess because pollution. So now we got the weed truck, which, I mean, sure, at some point you won't be able to do that anymore because of pollution, but not, at least you still can. I'm pretty sure you still can. No one likes the Roundup, even though stuff works a treat. Next. Here you go. Weed truck is still spraying there. They picked their dude is still back. I think they're going to spray and then reverse and pick that guy back up. So they're clearly ready to do both ends of the siding. And here we have the close up end of the weed truck as it shoots by on the Cape May Courthouse siding. Siding is I did look when I was on the old wiki map before. It is still there. Yep, there's the north end. There's the Boston and Maine cars. And there is your south end. Much more overgrown than it was. Those years ago, because that's where that's where this whole conference and everything took place, or around in there, and you wouldn't even know that there's not even signs of a parking lot, or sand or gravel. It's just grass now. Okay, on the move southbound. Gonna need to try to figure out where this is. I try to figure out where it is. I'm not going to go crazy figuring out where it is. Oh, wait, never mind. There. Wait. So here's the one thing that's tagging the Cape May Courthouse station. Did I put this in here? Huh, I did. Oh, I see what's up. Whatever. Okay, this looks like this crossing here. Yep, I can see the new ballast there, which is Shell Bay Avenue. Oopsies. What was I doing with this? That's a crazy aspect ratio. See, I just would cut and do who knows what. So, a bunch of work was done here. You can, this is not cheapo crossing protection. This is not PRSL era crossing protection. That one probably is, but this whole tourist line was done up pretty well in a time kind of before, I don't want to say tourist lines weren't big yet. I mean, tourist lines were a thing, but the state was putting some reasonable amount of investment down here, before the climate change, et cetera, became a big rallying cry for rail transit. They were Cape May always had issues. It was surprising. Of where you're going to find a rail transit solution. Trying to figure out if that's the right crossing or not. Oops. Yeah, I can see a field there. So this is Johnstown Lane. Cape May always had traffic problems. If you've been there, it's a Victorian city, very small streets, and this was a legit solution for getting cars out of Cape May. The state put money in. They refurbished the drawbridge. They had so you'd park at this thing called Cold Spring Village, and you take the Cape May Seashore Lines into Cape May on a weekend, and you wouldn't tie up the town parking. And I said it's very, very forward looking for the late 1990s. And it's a shame that it just really isn't running anymore. Not for no major fault of what the I screwed this up. There you go. For no real fault of of anyone's. One interesting thing, something else I'll point out is the Cape May Seashore Lines. When they upgraded when they were modifying the crossings, they put PRR style PL3 position light markers as the snitch lights to indicate the crossings were working. This is especially important because the crossings frequently were not working. And there's a couple. I think we had to flag at least one crossing that the weed truck was indicating was having issues with. So it's a very innovative use of signaling materials. So you can see it. That's just a little orange light. That's not a PL3, but there's a number of places where they have PL3s. That's at least the second crossing that I've noticed before, but I didn't want to spill the beans before I got to that photo. Okay, let's moving on down. See where the next one is. Now, normally, if I'm doing my more typical style here. Is this the right one? Let's see. Yes, and that would be Oyster Road. If I'm doing a more modern one with mileposts, I'm going to have a distance calculator, and I'm going to have to be having to calculate mileposts of rando things that I take pictures of that I don't have a milepost marker for. Again, just look at the this is very lightly built track, and like I said, they kept claiming it was class 3, as in that's good for 60/40, but I'm sure it has very light axle load restrictions and probably always had. Uh-oh. 7, 8. Nope. This will be 9. Is this right? Yes. This is Oyster Road. Yeah, back when I first did these photos in 2005, I don't even know if Google Maps, or definitely the satellite view, did not exist any way that would help me figure out what these roads were. This might have been, and again, this might have been the crossing we had to flag. I'm not entirely sure. But you definitely noticed some of the branches and trees and stuff that had to get pulled down. I'm going to do a square aspect ratio on this one. Because, again, this 3 megapixel camera does not zoom well. For those people who might not be regulars, these are all photos I took on my old 3 megapixel Olympus digital camera back before December of 2006, which is why I'm reprocessing them today. You know, the original processing had these in the poorly processed, and there's quite a bit of yeah, here it is. This looks like, I think this is NJ47. No, just Indian Trail. Is it NJ47? No, not yet. Indian Trail Road. Yep, well, this is at least one we had to flag. Let's see what I put this down as a part of the tour. I've seen some pretty fun flagging where you have to flag, but the crossings are clearly working. This one, I'm sure the crossing. I'm pretty sure the crossings were a little sketchy on this. But I've seen where a guy will just go out and do all sorts of fun maneuvers because it's clear that the flagging is not necessary. Another station. I think some of these had to have been original stations. Oh, and here I don't have. Drat, I do not have the schedules. They're down in another state. So you can see the old track circuits for the no audio frequency overlay for this stuff. This is most likely a PRSL passenger station. I'll see if anyone. It would be for Burleigh, Burleigh. Oh, it's Route 147. There you go. Let me go back one and see if that station is. Oh, yeah, that's not there. That's farther down. All right, moving on down. Let's see if I can find where that was. Well, let's see what the next picture is. Oops. Well, there's the distance signal to Wildwood. And there's a curve, so it's before that. Let's see if I can find it. If not, looks like I got sick and tired of taking a picture of every... oh, there's Wildwood Junction. So I got to back off a bit. Yeah, I don't... Oh, is that it right there? That could be the old station. It's not a crossing. Let's see if Street View will help us out this time. That could be it. Yeah, I think that's actually it. So there you go. Right next to the, probably why they put the station there, next to a giant mobile home park. Okay, I'm satisfied with that one. I'm satisfied with that explanation. I'll go back and check it after the end. If someone corrected me in the chat what station that is? Nah, not yet. Here we have. So this is neat. Like I said, this was manual block. The Wildwood station was a manual block station, and this is the distant. This is the legit distant signal to that manual block station. You'd have these two reflectors there. A yellow would indicate either approach, clear block, whatever, distant clear or distant approach. With those two fixed lights next to each other. That was part of the Redding Company manual block system. Just like you'd have a PRR one with caution, clear, or approach in manual block territory. I have no reason to believe that isn't there, but I can try to look on the overhead to see if we can find it. Where are we? Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin to look for that. Oops, that's the one. It's right before the curve. I can't quite really tell what that curve is. That's not really a crossing anymore. Could be this one. Let's see if I can get a... Nah, I can't get a street view on any of that. Oh well. Anyway, doesn't really matter. I should really get out there and get better pictures of these, but I was in the Cape May area. I had a reason to be there, but oh wow, this makes it easy. I got a street sign. Main Street. Main Street? Looks like Main Street. Oh, yeah, that's right where it is. So the distant would be somewhere right in there, but I've got no way. I got no eyes on it. Jeez. I'm not gonna really crop it a little bit. I don't need so much behind that what looks like a Ford Bronco there. But you can see the how well that PL position light unit works as a snitch light right there on the mast. It really stands out. It's a PL3s are designed to throw light far away at a low wattage. So. Oh, that's it. Let's see what's up in the chat. Yeah, it's an old semaphore. It's a semaphore that could just, like I said, a manual block distance semaphore, like the kind you see in like the UK or Europe. This was always south of Tuckahoe was manual block territory on the Reading, especially on the Reading. There's a lot of manual block on PRI and Reading because for the longest, they had, when they were building all this stuff out, they had the money to invest in that. And the FRA or the ICC, whoever was in charge at the appropriate time, was always loath to, generally didn't tend to allow the abandonment of signaling systems. So I might break from some of the tour thing. So here we have the southbound home signal to Wildwood Junction interlocking, or yeah, I guess it was an interlocking. The manual block and interlocking. I'll pull up something for this. This appeared on the old that old maps the PRR page. So there you go. There's your approach signal there. Looks like there was another distant to something. You get a yard limit sign, and then there was a mechanical lever frame in the building. Now I'll get onto that later. But again, there's your distant. This would be the 19 or 20 lever signal. Only one end of this was interlocked, and this was again so that up and through the 60s when they had Wildwood Junction service. I think up through the early 70s. Maybe I could be wrong. The RDCs would split. They'd split at Tuckahoe. They'd run down to Wildwood Junction. They'd cut off the last car. One of them would go to Wildwood. The other ones would continue on. Again, the books make it look like a bigger operation than it was. It was really a very, very, very small operation. But the almost everything here is manual block. That northbound signal was stop or clear block or stop. This one claimed to be semi-automatic, so I guess that it could display an approach or restricting, or I don't know. Maximum speed 60 passenger, 45 freight. Oh, even the signal, the switch wasn't even mechanically operated. Anyway, this was listed under the Wildwood Junction handle, but I'm going to just rename it in accordance with the in accordance with the interlocking, as was the style at the time. I have I have a bunch of old film photos of this. Oh, wow. Just name this. Yeah, I really should have spent more time down there. And then there's a reason I should. I'll get to it in just a second. What that would be the 7 signal for reverse movements. And here we have the split. And the old 7 signal. These are all semaphores. You can see that they were electrically operated, but there was a lever frame inside the station house. All right. So here's the station building, a little backlit, fortunately. I just found out that this was recently demolished. Back in 2005, it still had pretty good structural integrity. The slate roof was intact-ish. But like I said, it apparently had become a local eyesore. It was kind of even in the woods. But I guess eyesore is not the right term. Attractive nuisance, maybe. The town was pretty pissed off, and the town actually provided funds to demolish it. So I did pay a visit to this location in. You can still see it's there. Yeah, so like when I was there. Nope, not getting any street view. It wasn't that far deep in the woods. You could just walk right. You could pull in. There was like a little whatever street you took to get there. There was like a place where you could tell how to access it. But now it looks like it was just completely covered in the woods. You can see the tower was directly attached to the passenger station, or quote unquote tower. I think that the interlocking machine was saved at some point. When I was there in the 90s, the levers were still there. You could go in, you get pictures of everything, playing with the levers. At some point, I think that they vanished, and then again it was demolished. So someone said at some point I heard that the levers were taken out, maybe even the machine, but who knows? Most people don't know enough to save that sort of stuff. This was what I like to call the Cape May Seashore Line's wish list. This is now we're getting into the town of Rio Grande. where the Cape May Seashore Lines kind of had a hate-hate relationship with, well, not there yet, but Cape May Seashore Lines eventually moved all of its derelict equipment north to Tuckahoe. These are mostly PR P70 coaches, or what does that say? Atlantic Central. You don't know, again, I'm sure I could go and find out who these were if I spent 15 minutes researching it, but that's sort of beyond the scope of whatever I'm doing here. Oops. One second. There we go. Let's see what's next. But, and then we have another RDC. Now, I don't know exactly which RDC this is. Maybe I knew back then. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm having it listed as M410. Okay, that's fine. I'll trust my previous self on that one, but I could totally be wrong. In theory, M410 was operational, was made operational shortly thereafter. And here we have the south end of the Wildwood Junction Y. Those K cars? Who knows? Moving on here, almost 10. I assume that this was probably the southbound distant. Can't quite tell, but that's what was listed. That's what's listed on the thing. 3,000 feet. So it's a longer distance than the other distance signal. So. Oh, that's what this was. Someone identified this as the old crossing of the Pennsylvania Railroad, and that was a signal related to it. So there it is, right there. You can still see the old right-of-way. I think that would be it, unless it's something else. Oh, this is actually something Wikimapia does know the difference. Because people have marked all the right-of-ways down there. There it is. Wait, no, that's the Wildwood branch. Yeah, the PRR Wildwood branch is north of the Wildwood Junction, so I don't know what that is. Someone said it was an old PRR crossing. I'm not seeing it. So anyway, I'm just going to tag this as the reverse distant to Wildwood Junction. Maybe crop it a little. That's better. Okay. Here's Rio Grande, where I said there was a hate-hate relationship with the town. The town really hated the railroad because they were this is where the Cape May Seashore Lines used to store all its stuff, and the town really, really hated them because they saw it as an eyesore, as it attracts like vandals and weirdo rail people with their cameras and blah 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 blah. And there were lawsuits, and eventually, I forget how it was resolved. Everything got moved to Tuckahoe at some point. See, that's what I think is M410. That other one can't be M410, but whatever. I think that the town paid the money or something. But this was the main CMSL base of operations until they moved it to Tuckahoe, which actually appreciates the railroad being there because people have no other reason to go to Tuckahoe. See, that's got to be M410. I don't know what that other one is. I think it's M403. Because that's the one that was in like the next best condition. I'll just put X because I don't know. Sometimes you just don't know stuff. It's not a problem to admit that you don't know. Just as a reminder, even though we're in an RDC, the F7 number 576 is propelling us at this point in a push-pull mode using the RDC as a cab car. Here we have a URHS whatever car number 326. These used to live at Winslow Junction for a while. They lived on that sort of second main track by the tower until they got replaced by Comets. But I remember these used to live there for a ways. Good old Rio Grande, New Jersey. The reason that the RDCs have those bright colored reflector plates was due to a grade crossing accident at Rio Grande. This crossing in particular, where the RDCs hit a fuel truck causing a fire. That's how one of the RDCs, I think, was... I'm not sure if it was... So here if it was lost or if they were able to repair it. Yeah, here we have a URHS 329 and 578, the second of the two URHS Lehigh Valley. What am I doing here? Lehigh Valley painted CNW F7s. Oh, I also found out from yesterday the cab signals were installed for operation on NJT territory. So in the mid-90s, there was installed for fan trips. A couple were run. I don't know if they got their money's worth out of it or not. One second. And here we have the, again, they got state money to rebuild the crossing. That's all new stuff, and it was only used for about a year or two after this, unfortunately. Like I said, due to the that vandalism issue. Here you can see where the old Rio Grande yard used to be. I think all the tracks are still there and usable, and there's the crossing, but not much more than that. And there was a whole line of additional RDCs a little south of there. But this town really hated it because Tuckahoe is far away from the shore. That's where they're based right now, and people have no reason to go there. They're just, they're lucky if they even go there on the way to the shore. This is the Route 47 crossing, by the way. So that town's happy to get the tourism, but Rio Grande, which is not on the shore, but it's near enough that it's in the shore community. It's a shore-related community. Just always saw them as an eyesore. Note, we are 5 feet from the crossing, and the gates have just started to go down because I think we got onto the island circuit. I did not volunteer to flag a crossing. I'm not sure I could have, but I didn't ask. I probably should have. They were kind of giving that duty to whoever wanted it. How many are left? Is that 4? Oh, we're done. Ah, look at that. Let's see. Anybody around still? Hi. Well, that's it. We reached the end for today. We got one more trip left tomorrow. Going all the way down to Cold Spring. For some strange reason, I don't think I got many photos going back. But we still got a lot of fun. I will see you about same time tomorrow, hopefully a little earlier. And everyone stay safe and keep trying to be productive. And if you have an opportunity, order some food from to go from a restaurant because they need your bucks. All right, and also get out if you have time off from whatever. Take some pictures, shoot some video of the trains before the traffic completely crashes. Things are still running in a lot of places, and that's all I got. So you guys have again, stay safe, use proper precautions. All right, see ya, bye.